Hey, happy hump day, everybody. How's it going? I can see notifications are just starting to go out now. So figures. I don't know. Things have been really slow. I feel like I'm getting basically my channel's getting throttled here. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So how's everybody doing today? Middle of your work week for those who work a normal work week. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick that bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I go live, every time I drop a great video. And of course, don't forget, smash up the like button. Appreciate that very, very much. So I've been talking election 2024 for a while, and we touched on presidential politics, congressional politics, local politics, and Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army, and talked about how to do a pro-crypto army, and links to all of those live streams that I've done in the description of this live stream. And I forgot to turn down my dang phone here. Let me do that right now, because the one thing that is a certainty is when I am live, somebody calls me. Just the way it is. So let me turn that down. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Hope everybody's doing well today. Appreciate you being here. Like I said, notifications seem like they're still just going out right now, which is crazy. But I like I said, it's part of the systemic problem with, I think, having my channel throttled a little bit because of the content I'm not afraid to put out. So, want to help me out? Subscribe, share, like, comment, jump in the live chat. I really appreciate it. It is helpful when it comes to being able to get my content shared and spread further. All right, let's take a look at the markets. As always, you know what? Let me reframe this so you can be full screen. And of course, got to put up that not financial advice thing, not a financial advisor, old guy interweb. But let's take a look at where the markets are. Now, Bitcoin down 56,465. And you want to know what? I see so many people like complaining about it and panicking about it and all this other stuff. And truth be told, I see it as a buying opportunity and a gift to be able to get Bitcoin at these lower prices for a longer period of time. I mean, if you are dollar cost averaging into cryptocurrency, then you want to know what? You should be thinking about this the same, whether it's Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever it happens to be. And listen, if you want to know more about dollar cost averaging, make sure you're joining me for Crypto on the Rocks every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to show you how I take 25 bucks a week DCA into Bitcoin with 15 of that. And then you guys vote on what the other 10 bucks goes to. And, again, I don't mind it because this is perfect. It's like a buying opportunity with this particular dip. Hey, Tech Man in the house. Hello, sir. How are you doing today? Appreciate you being here as always. Tech Man, great supporter of this channel. Love this guy. He is awesome. Sometimes he joins us on Crypto on the Rocks on Fridays. So make sure you're tuning in for that. All right, let's keep going with the market prices here. Ethereum, 2,400 even right now. I mean, crazy. Good buying opportunity for Ethereum. Could it go down a little bit more? Yeah, I down 5% right now over the last week, but sure, it could go down a little bit more. But I'm thinking not a bad DCA time right now if you're wanting to stack some ETH. BNB finally below that $500 mark, barely, mind you, but down 7.5%, $4.99. Solana's taken quite a bit of a hit. We were talking about it yesterday on the Matrix Money podcast with CryptoJr. And Solana down 12.5% over the last 7 days, 129.04. XRP 55 cents, even though it's down 5%. That's pretty steady and solid with regard to XRP. Doge back below 10 cents, down 5%, 9.5 cents for the Dogecoin. Tron still not looking all that bad at just under 15 cents, down 5.7%. 15%. Wow. Don't know where that came from. Toncoin still not looking all that bad, even though it's down 14.5%, 464. You'd expect that to be down even more given the founder arrest last week. Cardano just finished their fork in their chain, the Chang hard fork, I believe. I'm having a brain cramp at the moment here. 11.5% down, 31 cents. This, if you are looking to DCA into Cardano, I'll tell you what, now is certainly the time to do that. I don't know. I honestly, it's looking pretty weak. It could go down even further, maybe sub 30 cents. But hey, again, it's all about the dollar cost averaging. AVAX 2150 down 12.5%. Sorry, goodbye for AVAX. What else we got? Link. You know, I like Link. $10, 10 cents, down 13.5% in the last week. This is, in my opinion, half off price with regard to Chainlink. Half off right here with Chainlink. Again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, old guy interwebs. Let's see what we got here. Bitcoin Cash. Again, use it for what it's meant to be used for. Buy your shit with Bitcoin Cash and save your Bitcoin. $309.22, down over 5%. Let's keep clipping along here. Same with Litecoin. Another one. I think Litecoin is going to be, is a better spendable money than Bitcoin. Bitcoin more of a store of value, my humble opinion. 64.71 up 5%. And I've noticed that, like, you know, the markets go down, Litecoin goes up. The market goes up, Litecoin goes down. I don't know what. People might be using Litecoin as some kind of store of value. I have no idea. But it's just odd to see that. Uniswap also up today when the markets are red, and $6.25. And again, I like seeing Uniswap up, the biggest decentralized cryptocurrency exchange, up almost 8%. Let's keep going. Matic right here, down almost 16.5%, 37.5 cents. I'll tell you what, great buy if you're a Matic fan. Caspa, we have to stop at Caspa. I know we have a lot of Caspa fans here. Down 8%, 14.9 cents. So sub 15 cents right now for Caspa. So, I mean, yeah, I know a lot of the people who watch this channel and the Matrix Money podcast are miners of Caspa, excuse me. But it is certainly within the realm of buy it and hodl it and make some profit, because you know that's going up in this bull run. Monero, look how strong Monero is. And again, one of the few greens in the market. Again, I think privacy coins are going to have a huge place to play, a huge role to play in this ecosystem and the developing ecosystem, especially as we get into next year, 2025. Right now, Monero looking strong at 172.52, up over 8%. If you're into Pepe, well, down 10%. Might want to buy some Pepe. What else we got here? Stellar. I'm surprised Stellar's down this much, and it's not even made it over the 10-cent mark. It's crazy. Well, for a while anyway. But Stellar, 8.9 cents, down 5%. Stacks, down 16%. Look at Sui. Now, they just dropped, we were talking about it yesterday on the Matrix Money podcast. They just opened up, pre-order for their new gaming system. So if you haven't talked, time for another cup of coffee. Cheers. If you haven't heard about that and that's something that interests you, head on over to my channel and check out the Matrix Money podcast from yesterday. If you want to just hear about that, there are timestamps in the description. Just click on the SUI and bam, you can listen to Jar and I think it was 100 Air who put that out to us about that particular pre-order going. Filecoin, I'll tell you what, Filecoin I think is going to be a huge deep in this space. And down almost 12%, 333 with regard to Filecoin. Super great price for Filecoin, if you ask me. We'll go down to like 50 here. Where was I? Render, right here. Render, another DPIM project that you can vote for every Friday night starting at 7 p.m. on the Matrix Money podcast. It was the winner of last week's DCA and has the majority share of all the DCA wins. I think it's won about 8 times since we started in June. And so Render, very strong project. And look at this buy price, down 21.7%. Crazy. I like it. I like it. All right. A couple more. Let's see what else we got here. Hedera, H-bar. You know what? I can't believe this thing. I wish I had more money. I'd be buying more H-bar. Down 4.8%, 8.8% over the last 7 days. And again, you can stake the H-bar and get a return for that. So, and if you want to know more about that, head over to my channel, search up H-bar. It'll be right there, and it'll even show you what I've gotten. I'm actually overdue to put out a how much have I earned kind of video for staking H-bar. So I hope maybe I don't know if I'm going to get to that this week. It's already Wednesday, and I got the week has already gotten away from me at this point. So all right, appreciate everybody being here. I can see I got a bunch of people in. Again, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tick that bell icon, click the all. That way you get notified every time I am live or drop a video. And again, I know my notifications are going out slow, if they're going out at all. And I've seen a lot of throttling from YouTube with regard to this channel. So I'd appreciate it if you smash up that like button, jump into the live chat. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you put some comments. I appreciate that, and share it. It will help to defeat the throttling that's going on from YouTube, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, so I've been saying for a long time, and links to all of the live streams I've done in the description of this live stream. Year in 2024 being a cryptocurrency election cycle. And guess what? Last night in Massachusetts, John Deaton, the crypto lawyer who helped the holders of XRP during the lawsuit between the SEC and Ripple Labs to get their voices heard, running against Elizabeth Warren. First, he had to get through the Republican primary. That was yesterday, and he kicked ass. We're going to go through a bunch of things, show you some of these clips. Matter of fact, you know, let's jump this in. And part of the reason I'm focusing on this is because I know I have a strong contingent of people in Massachusetts who watch this live stream and my channel, and I appreciate that very much. But more so because it needs to be out there that there are pro-cryptocurrency candidates running for various offices on a local, state, federal level. In this case, Elizabeth Warren has been the antithesis of pro-crypto. She still on her website, if you go there, is saying that she's building an anti-crypto army, even though this voting block of crypto voters here in the United States right now estimates between 50 to 80 million people in this country, in the United States, crypto owners, and obviously the majority of those potential voters. So there's a huge voting block here in the United States. And I'd like to believe that part of that voting bloc came out yesterday in support of John Deaton. We're going to look at a couple of different things. First, I wanted to point out that John Deaton, again, trying to be completely transparent here, was definitely supported, and this, according to this particular article right here, and again, links to everything I'm referencing in the description, saying that $70,000 was donated by a super PAC for this particular primary. So, like, this article came out obviously ahead of yesterday's primary election, but I wanted to point that out because it's important to know that, you know, these candidates are it's like anything else. You know, I get it, they need money to fund the campaign, and he put in a lot of his own money to fund his campaign. I want to say it was like $500,000 or something. Don't hold me to that. Go back to one of my earliest live streams about him jumping into the race, and I have all those facts and figures for you. But like, that was so long ago, I can barely keep it straight. But anyway, after his win last night, he did send out an email to people who have subscribed to his list, basically letting everybody know that he won, and that, okay, now it's on to the next leg of the fight, which is one-on-one, head-to-head, face-to-face with Elizabeth Warren and her machine, because let's be honest, she is one of the most entrenched politicians in DC, who is obviously, and if you go to the interview, not the interview, excuse me. If you go to the live stream I did last week, where you see, and I highlighted Perry Ann Boring from the Digital Chamber of Commerce in DC, she talked about Warren's influence on this administration and, you know, the financial and banking sector and the committees that control these entities. Okay, so go ahead, check that out. But you've got this guy who is obviously an underdog. I mean, he's never run for office before. He's not a career politician. He's just a guy that honestly inspires, and he touts it, the American dream, or what the American dream used to be anyway. These days, people say the American dream's dead. But then you've got people like John Deaton here, in my opinion, who are just defying that statement. So here again, some of the other headlines that have come out. Now, these are, I highlighted cryptocurrency sources here. So you can see pro-crypto attorney John Deaton face off with Senator Warren in Massachusetts this November. Hugely important. Hang on one second here. And Techman, Trump was same at the start. Yes, yeah, and I talk about that in the other. Thank you for pointing that out, Techman. And I talk about that in the other live streams that I've got listed in the description. You know, Trump's first administration was anything but pro crypto, for sure. But no matter how not pro crypto it wasn't as anti crypto as we've seen in these last 3.5 years with Biden and Harris. I mean, it's just, please. I mean, night and day difference. And not for nothing, you've got again, Elizabeth Warren pulling those strings. And if we want to get pro crypto legislation, we need to get rid of these anti crypto people. And Senator Warren would be like cutting the head off the proverbial snake. So, all right, let's take a look at what his numbers look like. And I brought this up from the other article that I had listed in the description, so feel free to go ahead and check that out. That's the source of that of this particular graphic that you see here. So 64.6% of the vote. I know that there is a large group of people in Massachusetts who are pro crypto. I know that for a fact. Again, I have a lot of them that watch this channel. Appreciate you if you're watching right now, or you're watching this on the replay. So look at this. in the primary. He's basically, I mean, his nearest competitor, he's more than double. I mean, 26% for Robert Antonellis. And so John Deaton ran a very grassroots campaign. He was at many state fairs, you name it, just parades, everything, getting out, shaking hands, talking to people, and he put out a lot of that on his X accounts. You can see those videos. I've shared them with you because again, I think that regardless where you live in this country, you know that Senator Warren has the ability to affect cryptocurrency policy in DC. And guess what? It's in everyone's interest, regardless what state you live in, to have her out of that seat. End of story. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Okay. I want to take a look at it's like, I don't know, 2 minutes long, maybe. The news coverage that was last night after the election. And then I want to show you his speech after he was declared the winner. But first, this is from ABC News, local, their Channel 5 local, which is the local ABC affiliate in Boston. So here we go.
He was pretty fired up. He called for unity and an end to partisan politics. And he also cast himself as a fighter for the poor and working class. Let's take a look at those numbers. Deaton coming in with 64%, Robert Antonellis 27%, and Ian Kane 9%. And that's with 40% of precincts reporting so far.
Now, this, again, remember, this was last night, and the numbers held pretty much true, as you can see in that particular graphic I showed you just a moment ago, just under the 65% mark for Deaton. And I want to point out that this Ian Kane, who got, obviously, Republican voters in Massachusetts saw through him being put into this race in an attempt by, honestly, you know, I'm sure by the powers that be in the Warren campaign to try and disrupt this Republican primary. Yeah, he didn't even get 10% of the vote. So anyway, sorry, I'll let this finish and then we'll move on to the next one.
Now, Deaton is a lawyer, a Marine, and also a cryptocurrency advocate. He had some tough words for Senator Elizabeth Warren.
No politician in Washington fuels division more than Elizabeth Warren. After 12 years, she's passed only one bill. She's completely absent, focused on hyper-partisan politics and advancing her own national ambitions.
Now, tonight, Senator Warren's campaign coming out with a statement essentially saying a small handful of crypto billionaires chose Deaton for this race and poured millions, in fact, into the campaign.
Now, it is true that the millions got poured into his, well, I don't want to say millions, but we've seen in that particular first one I showed you, 70K, and there might have been more. That's easily found by looking up the open information that's out there for election for the election rules that these candidates have to follow with regard to disclosures of money that's donated to them. So feel free to go do that research on your own. So she's right in saying that, yes, large amounts of money was donated to him. But you know what she's not telling you is, and she's highlighting it, that it's from crypto. As she, if you go back to the second or third, I can't even remember, live stream I've done with regard to Elizabeth Warren slinging mud, you know, basically saying that, you know, crypto bros set him up. He's a crypto bro, this, that, the other thing. I mean, you know, Deaton is certainly pro crypto, but calling him a crypto bro is just showing your lack of knowledge about anything else. So again, I'll cut that out now. But I would appreciate everybody that's watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash up that like button. I really appreciate that to help with this whole algorithm. Again, I know I've said it a couple of times, but I know I've got new people joining in, so I just want to highlight it again. This channel definitely being throttled, I'm going to guess because of the information I put out, because I just don't care. I'd rather people see the facts as it is versus, you know, what they want you to hear. And because of that, I know that one, my notifications, if they go out, are going out slowly, if at all. Two, I know that I'm not getting the same distribution as other cryptocurrency influencers in the space. So I would appreciate it. Again, like button in the live chat. If you're new, subscribe and share, because the more people that are watching this, it goes right around the algorithm. So I appreciate your help with regard to that. Techman says, he is right. Pro crypto is a plus, but has he put out a roadmap of what will be done to fix things? I have not researched him, but has to be better than Poke and Hontus. Yes, 1,000% better than Poke and Hontus. Yes. Cheers, by the way. And he has put out a well, I don't want to say a roadmap. It's more of campaign. Yeah, what's the word I want? I'm having a brain cramp right now. Policies. And you can find that on his website. Matter of fact, link to his website in the description of this live stream, Deaton4Senate.com. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh my God, I just lost my entire train of thought. Okay, well, so much for that. But yes, definitely better him than Elizabeth Warren, obviously. And again, Elizabeth Warren, though she's a senator from Massachusetts, is highly influential in the federal government space. And no matter what, cryptocurrency regulation of one way, shape, or form is coming forward within the next year or two. It just, I'm speaking US specific right now, okay? It just is. And it would be better to have John Deaton helping to influence that than Elizabeth Warren. Let's be honest, okay? Now, I want to bring up his, after he was announced as the winner of the primary yesterday. Now, some of this video and audio is a little bit difficult. Matter of fact, I'm going to lower this audio and just start this thing a little bit. And you can hear in the background, I mean, he was basically greeted by a bunch of cheering supporters. And I mean, that's to be expected, I would assume. But he is very much an advocate. Oh, wait, I should probably do this. There we go. That's a little bit. Very much, you know, an advocate of, you know, his accomplishments from growing up in poverty. And he's going to talk about that. And I want to listen through a little bit of this for those who are not familiar with him. So if you have people in Massachusetts, maybe you can point them to finding out a little bit more about this guy, and hopefully get them out there and voting. Again, they should be voting anyway, but if for nothing else, for John Deaton, if they are even remotely pro crypto. Now, right here, one of his daughters is introducing him, and you know, which is a nice touch, quite frankly, to get the support of the family and so on. But we're going to zip right by this right now and then get to his speech, where he's thanking everybody and so on. Where are we? Right about here. Okay, so we'll let this run. I'll turn this up, okay? And I'll stop it in between, and we can, because I've got my own 2 cents.
Someone like me be elected to take on one of Washington's most entrenched elites. Yeah. It is an honor to be your nominee for United States Senate. Yeah. I was honored to represent Massachusetts once before when I was chosen to represent the entire Commonwealth by the Marine Corps for the 1994 Judge Advocate Law contract. And it will be an honor to represent you in the United States Senate.
And you know what? I want to just stop this for 1 second. He's, you know, a lot of thanks. He's going back about his history from Mass and just his history to the comment that I remember what I was wanting to say when Tech Man put this comment up there. He Deaton says he has a very simple litmus test with regard to bills and legislation that he will potentially see in Congress, and that is it good for Massachusetts, and is it good for America? I mean, that quite frankly should be the simple litmus test of all of our legislators. He also talks about, well, you know what? I'm not going to usurp his speech here. I'm going to fast forward ahead because he does bring up his younger daughter, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to get to where he's actually talking here. So. Yeah, there's his younger daughter. I love the fact that she comes up and like dancing around on the stage later.
Thank you to my campaign staff, to everyone who's donated, and to all my hardworking supporters and volunteers. Let me tell you, what you're looking at, I am the living, breathing embodiment of the American dream.
And he's about to go on and explain that, and I want to let this play a little bit because I really think it's an ideal that is lost in this country. Again, like I said, we've seen how many people saying that you know, the American dream is dead, and I'll tell you what, it's definitely on life support. I ain't gonna argue with that. Certainly is. But again, we need to do our own part, like I've talked about in the past. Again, links in this description on different live streams where you need to be in, and I focus it on crypto advocate, but you can do that by getting involved in your local politics. So your town, your city, whatever, your state, and then of course on the federal level, like we're talking about here with John Deaton. All right, let me let him get back to his thing.
The fact that I'm standing on this stage is proof that your birth does not dictate your destiny. Yeah.
Amen.
Our own fate. I was born into intergenerational poverty from a single mother of welfare and food stamps. I grew up in one of the worst neighborhoods in America, surrounded by drugs and violence. I watched my mother get stabbed when I was 6 years old. Between the ages of 9 and 11, I was sexually abused by a predator in the neighborhood who threatened to kill my mother if I said a word. At 17, I had my best friend shot down, killed, and died in my arms. 40 years later, it still stings. Because of gun violence, I was a high school dropout, just like all the siblings before me. And I was devastated. I really wanted to go to college. My mother, Mary, who is my hero. But let me tell you what extreme poverty does. My mother caught me crying, and she tried to console me by telling me that not everybody, not people like us, don't deserve to go to college. She said, son, I'm sorry, but college isn't for everyone. That's what real poverty does to people. It strips you of your mind, your spirit, your self-esteem.
And you know what? Again, I think I mentioned before, a lot of his story resonates with me, and not that I'm looking to put my entire story out there because it isn't about me here in this particular live stream, but the story resonates. And frankly, I think it resonates with the majority of people in this country. You know, we weren't all born into you know, families with money. A lot of us were raised in projects or in areas that were definitely less affluent to be generous. So again, I appreciate the story that he's putting out and his history, and because that shapes his perspective going forward. And in my opinion, I think has helped to shape his, and this is just my opinion, okay, has helped to shape his perspective on crypto and money in general. So, my opinion.
On that day, my mother told me that at 14 years old, I said, I'm going to break the cycle of poverty, and if I end up being a father one day, I'm going to be a good one. I found a tiny Catholic high school with a principal named Terry Burkhart, who gave me an opportunity, but he made me earn it. He cut the tuition in half, and at 14 years old, I began 18-hour days washing dishes after school. I was the only one in my family to graduate high school, and I made it to college after all. After college, I came here to Boston to go to law school. I maxed out my student loans, but it wasn't enough. So I worked my way through, graduating with honors from New England School of Law. In the Marines, I was a federal prosecutor, and I fought drug cartels smuggling drugs using young Marines as mules to cross our southern border. For my efforts, I was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, which can only be issued by the President of the United States.
So, okay, only because this has been a thing, you know, there's his military service, and then you want to go check out Wall's military service, and I use that with air quotes. As a veteran, the whole Wall's crap pisses me off. But anyway.
I protected our border in the Marines, and I could do it in the Senate. After serving in the Marines, I did struggle. I struggled to start my own law firm. It took a long time, but I succeeded. And for the last 2 decades, I've been representing working people dying from cancer against major corporations and insurance companies. And it's not just the greedy companies. I took on the United States government when it threatened to financially wipe out tens of thousands of small retail investors, including 700 here in Massachusetts.
And that right there, he's referring to the XRP case. That's what he's referring to there. And I didn't realize until just listening to this again that there were over 700 he represented in Massachusetts alone. Again, remember, he's running against Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts. But the people he represented were from across the country with regard to the Ripple case, which now settled almost 2 years ago. 2 years ago now. Holy crap, time flies. Anyway, I'll let him get back to that. But that's what he's referring to there.
I did that work for free, and I won. Like I said, I'm what the American dream is all about.
Amen.
Now listen, as we gather here tonight in Boston, where American democracy and opportunity was born, that dream is dying. For so many others. The political elite, they cling to power, and they sow division. They lie to serve their own interests, and they get rich doing it.
And that's all we've seen lately, right?
That we're facing is destroying us. It's turned neighbor against neighbor. We can feel it at work. Our kids are experiencing it at school. Today, we're judged more by our political affiliation and where we choose to get our news than the ideas we bring to the table and the efforts we make in our communities. We're told to pick a side, and then we're told that the other side doesn't share our love for this nation. It's wrong.
Yep.
And it's why nothing gets done.
That's all we've seen in recent politics, right?
In our elected leaders and institutions, we become weaker as a nation. We must do better. No politician in Washington fuels division more than Elizabeth Warren.
Well, again, at least as far as to the cryptocurrency space, right?
She's mastered.
Although she does have her tentacles into other things.
She told us she was going to go to Washington and take on the bankers and the special interest groups. But 12 years later, those same bankers and special interest groups write her bills and they finance her campaigns.
I'm glad he put that out there about writing the bill, because that again did the live stream live stream regarding that with the last bill that, or anti-crypto bill that Elizabeth Warren introduced. Again, link in the description here, where she had it 100% written by the Banking Association. These, again, like he points out, were the people that she went down to fight against on behalf of us little people down to Washington, D.C. That's why she was elected, over 10 years ago, was to go do this. And now she's literally completely financed by them and has them writing her anti-crypto legislation. Sorry. I mean, that alone should say it all.
She told us she would be a champion for the poor and the middle class. But 12 years later, poor people and working people are hurting more than ever. She fights against the rich and the wealthy. That is not the same as fighting for the poor and the middle class. I'm here to prove we can lift people up without tearing others down.
There you go.
I believe voters are sick
a unique concept, huh?
Politics and destruction. We've had enough of finger pointing and name calling. Elizabeth Warren told us that she would fight for Massachusetts families. But after 12 years, she's passed only one bill. She's completely absent, focused on hyper-partisan politics and advancing her own national ambitions. Here's what I'll do differently.
And I want to just expand on that a little bit. As I talked about that in my last week's live stream, and showed you clips from, again, Perry Ann Boring from the Digital Chamber of Commerce, who is working tirelessly. The Digital Chamber is, and so is Perry Ann, for cryptocurrency advocacy down in DC, trying to get positive cryptocurrency legislation passed. And, she talked about Elizabeth Warren. And remember, Elizabeth Warren did run for president in the last cycle. And when she did back out of that election cycle. And as, again, pointed out, go check out the live stream to get the wording exact. Link in the description. But basically, her guess is there was some backroom deal, handshake deal for Elizabeth Warren to back out, but giving her a certain seat of power, which, again, in the financial services arena with the Biden-Harris administration. So I'm glad, again, he points that all out, and not in as many words as I have, obviously, but I'm glad that he's highlighting and hitting on all those points, because it's very important as we look for positive pro-cryptocurrency legislation.
I will work to secure the border and end the migrant crisis. I will tackle out-of-control spending that resulted in record inflation, making life unaffordable for Massachusetts families. I will work to reform our health care and make it more affordable.
And not for nothing, it's not just Massachusetts families. We're all feeling the pinch the current level of inflation, which is obviously much higher than the numbers would prove to be. Again, live stream for a different time, although I have talked about it on several live streams that we're talking about inflation and the pending banking crisis that we're going to see probably soon.
Accessible. My God, communities across the Commonwealth are literally losing access to nearby hospitals. I will fight for responsible energy policies that combat climate change without crushing our economy and disadvantaging American businesses and entrepreneurs. And I will push for term limits on members of Congress and end political careers.
And I'll tell you, that right there alone is a must, if you're asking me. Term limits to Congress, absolutely, 1,000%. And honestly, even for state and local officials.
I'm going to demand single issue bills only. A Ukraine funding bill.
And I just want to stop it there because, again, I don't know how much all of you follow politics, but basically, you get these bills, and he highlights stuff like, I think he calls like, if you're funding Ukraine, it should be the Ukraine funding bill or whatever, however he says it. And because you find that, you get these bills like the Inflation Reduction Act, which does nothing but increase inflation because they're giving money out to everybody, including the Ukraine in that particular one. But, it's very important that those kind of things need to be brought back down to single issue bills because that's what they should be instead of all these add-ons. But that's how, unfortunately, politics is conducted these days down in DC. And this is where we've had, as a cryptocurrency industry, some of the more difficult times with executive orders and different various legislation that has things that would be and are detrimental to the cryptocurrency space tied into them. So, single issue stuff is a huge, huge piece that needs to be changed in DC.
A Ukraine funding bill should be called the Ukraine funding bill. It should not involve infrastructure, seniors, or veterans, or social programs. If a bill cannot stand and survive on its own merits, then it shouldn't pass.
Amen.
Israel's right to defend itself from terrorism, period. I will fight for transparency, and I will challenge a system of corruption and permanently nail shut the revolving door that allows politicians and unelected bureaucrats to line their pockets while the little guy takes it on the chin.
Amen. Well, that's exactly what happens. It is a revolving door. They finish up in politics, and then the next thing you know, they're working as for these groups that are influencing politicians.
Here's my message to you, Senator Warren. Let's lead by example and raise the level of political discourse, reject negativity and name calling, and provide the voters with a real comparison between us. In previous elections, you agreed to 2 debates. In fact, you're out there tweeting now that you agreed to 2 debates. During the Republican primary, I agreed to 5. Let's not shortchange the voters and try to cram all the issues facing us into short debates. So, Senator Warren, I challenge you to 5 single-issue debates.
And now, I'm going to actually cut this here. He goes on and highlights the single-issue debates that he wants, and they are very important. Stuff like immigration, inflation, so on. These single-issue debates. The only disappointment I had in that, and I guess you could technically tie it into the inflation thing, is that he didn't really have a single-issue thing about finance, specifically, and which would definitely tie in stuff like cryptocurrency. But again, I'm looking at it through a one issue voter lens here. So I'm going to wrap this thing up because I've gone pretty long, and it links to the rest of that particular speech and so on in the description of this live stream. I appreciate everybody hanging in and listening to this, because again, we need to all be cognizant of trying to change the legislation on all levels. Again, local, state, federal levels, with that is beneficial to cryptocurrency and our space, because again, the legislation's coming, and why not have it be positive legislation? It only makes sense. So again, if you have people who are any relatives, friends, whatever in Massachusetts, share this with them. Let them get some information. Hopefully they're already familiar with John Deaton, especially if they're in crypto. But if they're not, let's help bolster his campaign, because one thing's for sure, Warren is gonna, and everybody that supports her, so like the entire banking association, is gonna be sitting there spending money hand over fist to try and defeat him. All right, that's gonna do it for today in this particular video live stream. So what's going on for the rest of the week? I'm not sure if I'm going to be live tomorrow. I got a lot of things going on. I'm going to try to get a live stream out tomorrow. So watch for any announcements with regard to that. But I will be live Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, for Crypto on the Rocks. Make sure you are there Friday, 7 p.m. So you can vote for what we're going to dollar cost average into this week. Maybe it'll be something other than render. I got nothing against render. It's just been like dominating in the voting. That's all. Anyway, 7 p.m. Bring a cold drink. Come join me online. We can talk crypto, whatever it is you want. So make sure Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Bring in the weekend with myself. Usually I got trade intuitions there. I'm actually 100 Air Tech Man sometimes. I mean, the idea is people come in and out as they please, and I'm always glad when they are there. And then right after Crypto on the Rocks, exclusively on Patreon, After Hours Crypto, let me tell you, it doesn't always stick to crypto, that's for certain. And I do it behind a paywall on purpose. So $5 a month, that's what it'll cost you to gain access there. And I do that on purpose because, you know what? I want to be able to speak my mind. I want the people who are there to be able to speak their minds. And if you're paying to be there, well, there's no community guidelines like I have to deal with on YouTube or whatever. So consider checking that out on Patreon. Again, link in the description to check out my Patreon. I do a bunch of open content for everybody, but there is some exclusive content, and coming soon, mastermind content. So I'm working on that. Okay, that's it. I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. If nothing else, Friday night, 7 p.m., Crypto on the Rocks. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you soon.